essentially you want to the bar. You want to give this thing What's going on, guys? Coach Kegs here, Coach Run It. Today we're going to teach you how to conventional deadlift properly. So it's all going to start on the ground, as always. We'll start with our foot position. Ideally, we want this right under our shoulders. We don't want it too wide, because if it's too wide, it's going to get in the way of our hand. So we want our feet in a natural position right there. Next thing we're going to get into is the bar position. This is really important. We want the bar to start right over his shoelaces. We don't want it too far in front or way too far back at his shins. We want it right over the middle of the foot. Next thing we're going to get into is his actual foot pressure. You want to make sure you're pushing evenly through the entire foot. You don't want to push through just your heels or come up onto your toes. You want to try and think about pushing through the middle of the foot, pushing equally through all parts of the foot the entire time. Now that we've set up our feet, it's time to lay the groundwork up top before we grab down the bar. So with the shoulders, you want nice tight lats. So you want to think about keeping the shoulders back, squeezing eggs in your armpits, I like to call it. Get nice and tight there. Once we're nice and tight there, we want to keep our chest up. We want to hinge down like you're doing a dumbbell deadlift. So you want to get your hips back as you go down until your hands meet the bar. You want your arms to be nice and long at this point, right? See how there's no slack in his arms, there's no bend in his elbows. It's nice and long the entire time. Now that we've taken a solid grip with his hands outside of his legs, we're nice and tight in the upper back. I want Run It to think about leg pressing the weight off the ground. I want you to think about pushing through your legs, keeping that chest up as you come up. So Run It, if you want to come up. And as he comes up, you notice how his hips met the bar at the top. So Run It, if you want to come up again, his hips, he's squeezing his glutes as hard as he can, and he's forcing his hips right into the bar. Can I swear? The best cue to think about this is you want to the bar. You want to give this thing as much force as you can. You really want to think about driving your hips all the way through, meeting the bar at the top. Another thing you want to focus on is breathing and bracing while you're doing the deadlift. Really important to take a nice big deep breath in before you go down. Brace your core. You want as much tension in here as possible, and then lift while you're holding that breath. Now would be a good time to breathe out as you bring the weight back down. In a controlled manner, you don't want to just drop it. So that's the setup and execution on how to deadlift. Run It, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, guys, so there's a couple things. Kags actually mentioned this. Leg pressing the ground away. That cue has been a game changer for a lot of people. Just think about really pushing your feet in. We think too much like picking the bar up with our backs and just going down. But if you maintain that foot pressure, you're gonna notice that your glutes and hammies, quads, everything's getting involved more. So you can actually lift the bar at a greater force, but also you feel more stable, right? So I'm not gonna say much more, but that's the biggest cue I would say to improve your deadlifts is to leg press the ground away. So hopefully that helped you improve your deadlift. We're gonna go over some accessory / assistance work that's gonna help you actually take your deadlift to the next level. So number one will be a pause deadlift. Basically, you're spending more time in positions you're not good at, right? So we'll show that right here. A second one will be like a front squat. We'll be going over. What that's doing is putting you into an opposite position of a deadlift. A deadlift, you're spending time here. A front squat, you're here. So now you're getting strong in different positions, which is gonna help you be more stable in the deadlift as well. And the last few movements are more single leg work. So like a single leg Bulgarian split squat, a walking lunge, will be good variations to make sure you're stable on both legs, and that will carry over to your deadlift. Last thing, guys, really important, please check the link in description. We've created a full template on how to do the deadlift, all the accessory movements, and a program you can follow to get your deadlifts jacked. And then you can flex on the gram with heavy deadlifts like Coach Kags here, right? But yeah, hope that helped. Any questions, let us know, and hope you get jacked.